I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am fearfully and wonderfully I am fearfully and wonderfully
Abomination.
Destruction will heal. Wonderfully made.
And everywhere I go, there's always something to remind me.
After I finished 8th grade and finally escaped the clutches of middle school, I was gearing up for high school. Initially, I was terrified, thinking if middle school was a nightmare, what horrors awaited me in high school? I even contemplated going back to my old coping mechanisms, feeling unprepared for what I dubbed the Jim Crow 2.0, the bent wrist and sugar britches edition, man. The stress took a toll, and I found myself eating more than ever. Like, seriously, my summer turned into a cycle of eating, gaming, sleeping, and repeating all of that. I packed on the pounds, tipping the scales at just over 200, okay? I was low-key living my best Amberlynn Chantel life, okay? Adding sugar, not to make the medicine go down, but to sprinkle that all over my ice cream like Salt Bay, Sugar Bay. What was I thinking? I'd raid other people's leftovers in the fridge, okay? Demolishing anything that had been there for more than a day. Consequences be damned. As summer came to a close, discussions about my high school options began. They had already chosen a school for me, but a neighboring city was opening its doors to students from outside the area. This school was more diverse, though still predominantly white when I attended, and given my past experiences with some of these low vibrational I decided to make the switch. My initial days as a freshman were quite tumultuous, filled with the challenge of navigating my way through the maze of classrooms and getting my schedule sorted. Eventually, I found myself in the school's auditorium for my very first drama club meeting. I recall sitting in the back while the rest of the group clustered together in the front rows. Miss S, our drama teacher, noticed me and warmly beckoned me to join the others. Her inviting demeanor eased my nerves a bit. After the meeting, those interested had the chance to showcase their acting talents through improv. Naturally, I stayed. Acting has always been a passion of mine. As I stepped onto the stage, I dove into the scene with enthusiasm. Following my performance, Miss S offered some constructive criticism, kind of read me a bit, pointing out areas for improvement. See, I had been accustomed to performing in low-budget church plays, thinking I was doing something. But her feedback, low-key, was a wake-up call. She recognized my potential and encouraged me, saying that with dedication, I could truly embody any character. Despite the slight shade she kind of threw, no shade, her words ignited a fire in me to pursue acting with vigor. Fast forward a few years, and I became the first African-American male to land lead roles at that school. The drama club was incredibly inclusive. I remember performing in a play called Princess and the Pea. We often chose classic plays because they were cheaper, where I portrayed Prince Dauntless. My father, the king, was played by a Latino actor, and my mother, the queen, was portrayed by a white actress. A Latino man and a white woman had a black child. Not in Trump's miracle. That. Even though I was landing lead roles and earning respect within the club, I'm talking about being so revered that some of the girls in there would feed me grapes and give me shoulder rubs and during lunch, while everyone else in the cafeteria was watching in awe, like, what the f? What mattered most was how they made me feel. They treated me like family, and that sense of belonging was everything. I never encountered any racist incidents with anyone from the club, even though they were quite intrigued by my afro. That was kind of crazy for a minute. It was there that I met my very first white best friend, B. Our introduction was quite unusual, and the bond we formed was truly captivating. If you're interested in hearing about my adventures with B and my high school days, let me know down below. The sense of camaraderie I found among them was authentic, something I had yearned for. I felt increasingly free to express my true self around them. I can't help but wish I had experienced this kind of connection with my black peers during my younger years. And although I was relishing my high school experience, the church, which I was still deeply involved with, began to show increasing curiosity about my sexuality.
Living a life or a life can be tiring, so I choose the truth.
My father had invited members of our congregation to watch me perform, and seeing me in theatrical makeup along with my lack of interest in girls raised some significant eyebrows. Eventually, my dad started pressing me about when I would get a girlfriend. I would respond much like R did to those few religious folks, but my answer didn't satisfy him, especially since I was spending so much time at B's. Y'all want that story time? Let me know. To divert his attention, I decided to date a Latina girl from my school and later a girl from my church, just to keep everyone off my back. However, as I matured and my thoughts and feelings intensified, I began to delve into research to study to show thyself approved. With the launch of YouTube in 2005, during my freshman year, I started to engage with discussions about religion and sexuality. It was then that I discovered two remarkable individuals who inspired me to embrace the next step on my self-love journey. One was Samantha, known as Mrs. Sarcasm. Y'all make sure to subscribe to her channel. She's an amazing content creator who also enjoys the herb, okay? And anyone who does enjoy the herb is definitely my friend, The other was Anthony Charles William II, also known as Tone or B-Slade, who shared his truth about being same-sex attracted in an interview with Lexi. Watching and listening to them, knowing that others had not only survived, but thrived while being true to themselves, filled me with both excitement and fear. Organized religion had instilled in me the belief that I was destined for hellfire. Yet these individuals boldly declared that regardless of what others believed, God loved them for who they were, and that no one held the keys to their personal heaven or hell. During my final years of high school, I made the bold decision to seek out romantic connections. Approaching my 18th birthday and on the brink of graduation, I was ready to step into the adult world after spending so long in the shadows. Armed with newfound knowledge about healthy queer identities and expressions, I felt a mix of, again, excitement and fear. The thought of losing everything loomed over me, yet I realized that if embracing my true self meant sacrificing all of it, it would simply clarify what truly mattered in my life. Each day, I weighed the risks, but when the chance for genuine love presented itself, I knew it was time to take a stand. I chose love. The first time I encountered my first love was on MySpace, back when the hierarchy of friendships was determined by your top 8 friends list. Like, seriously, how did I drop from number 2 to number 6? I was browsing through profiles, adding guys I found appealing, and I admit I was a bit self-absorbed at first. Then I stumbled upon Jay's profile. This stunning, light-skinned guy with a thick neck and a model-like presence, complete with this big Michael Jackson-esque bell pepper nigga nose. Couldn't resist sending him a friend request and a message, even though I secretly doubted that he would reply. I was in Michigan and he was all the way in Massachusetts. To my surprise, he responded that very night and our conversations took off from there. I was really into him and he felt the same way, leading to a few months of chatting that made my senior year feel like a dream. Yet, I was still in the closet. See, Jay understood his value. He wanted to be with someone who would love him openly, and I had to make a decision. Stick with what was comfortable, secrecy, deception, and the facade of fitting in like so many other closeted men of faith, or choose happiness, authenticity, and freedom. That's when I made the choice to come out. I started with my drama club friends, who were incredibly supportive, then told my sister, followed by my mother, and finally, my dad. And if you're interested in my coming out story that ended with a rather unsuccessful deliverance experience, let me know down below.
It's hard to keep focus. 1 minute staring at the moon,
Embarking on this new chapter in my life, where I'm finally embracing my truth and exclusively dating Jay, the moment had arrived for us to meet face to face. It was around Halloween when I boarded an 18-hour Amtrak train for a one-way journey to my first love. The memory is etched in my mind. I waved goodbye to my parents as the train chugged into the night. Jill Scott's Beautifully Human Volume 2 echoing in my ears, a whirlwind of excitement and anxiety swirling within me as I pondered what awaited. As the train neared my destination, the final stop, baby, my heart raced. It nearly bursting from my chest. Stepping off the train, I scanned the crowd for Jay. After a few moments of searching, my gaze landed on him, casually leaning against a lamppost. My heart plummeted to my knees. He approached with a radiant smile, enveloping me in a hug that made me feel like I could just dissolve into the air. We soon arrived at his place, and after a refreshing shower, 18 hours is a long time, y'all, I got dressed and made my way to his room. As I entered, I was greeted by the soft glow of tea light candles and the gentle blue light of his iPod dock with music playing in the background. There he was, sitting cross-legged on the bed, and I momentarily froze, struck by the surreal nature of the moment. Like, is this really happening? I finally gathered my thoughts and sat on the opposite side of the bed. We chatted for a while, sharing music from my iPod, when suddenly Can You Believe by Robin Thicke filled the air, a song that resonated deeply with me at that time. I mustered the courage to ask if I could hug him, and he readily agreed. One hug led to another, and soon we were wrapped in each other's arms. A flood of thoughts raced through my mind. How could this possibly be wrong? Surely God wouldn't condemn me for this. To finally experience intimacy, to feel his warmth, to gaze into each other's eyes with tears of joy. We spent the rest of the night cocooned in each other's embrace. That relationship became my most genuine and long-lasting one, spanning nearly 2 years. And it taught me invaluable lessons about love and connection. And if y'all want a story time about my first love, let me know down below. After my breakup with Jay, we started...